Guys, welcome back to CoogsTalk. I'm your host, Lynden Taft, here with
Iain Bell.
Nick White.
and today we're going to do March Madness bracket predictions. First off, guys, do you think Cinderella stories are dead?
It definitely is a sensitive topic right now
Yeah.
because when you think of March Madness, you think of those crazy upsets, those teams that are unlikely, but somehow they make their own destiny. But within like the past 2 years, and especially last year, when the Final Four was made up of all one seeds, it's kind of hard to say that Cinderellas are alive and kicking because we just haven't seen them like we have in the past years. Like last year, like I said, it wasn't really anything crazy. There wasn't really a lot of like bracket busters. The one that really just pops into my head was Kentucky losing. But other than that, I think they were the highest seed to go out within the first two rounds.
That was Oakland. Not Oakland, California. I forgot the guy. He's
I know you're talking
I
about.
forgot what his name is. Shout out to that guy. He had like that post game interview that he had that was like super legendary. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll never be like in the NBA, but guess what? Like I'll have the skills just to be like a decent basketball player. I was
Yeah.
like, that's what I was trying to be like.
It reminded me a lot of Klay Thompson in that 11 dribbles, 60 points. Like
Ooh.
he barely dribbled,
And
but just get the ball in his hands, he's gonna pull up. But just like teams like that, like Oakland, Loyola, Chicago, like these historic teams, I don't know if they have that type of chance this year. Like I think the top of the Power Four conferences, especially with the Big 12, like the Big 12 right now is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be hard for them to make any crazy noise. I do see one punching into the Sweet 16 just because that's how the game of basketball works. But any of them making to the Final Four, I don't know if I could put all my eggs in that basket.
I do have to agree with you, unfortunately, because it is like it's a sad thing. I actually saw recently, I forgot what it's St. Peter's Doug Peterson, right? Or not? No, that's the Eagles coach. I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, Doug with the.
Yeah.
Doug with the mustache. Like it was like he's now like an official like assistant basketball coach, like at a local, like wherever he's at, wherever he's staying at. It's like, and you see less of those guys. You know, the list goes on about more and more of the of the Cinderella people. But yeah, it's kind of a unfortunate dying thing because that was the beauty of March Madness was that obviously when like college football was like BCS system, that was just terrible.
Yeah.
Computer automated stuff. Then it was top 4 teams. Now we got the 12-man team, potentially 16-man team. But this was something cool to have 64 teams in total that anyone could go into. But like seeing it right here, I mean, as you were saying before, it's kind of hard not to say that though. I mean, obviously I know that's what the odds would say statistically. Some interesting ones that maybe they could do something. Funny enough, SFA is in it. Yale is in it. Liberty, CA Baptist. I believe it's California Baptist, correct?
Yeah.
California Baptist, I mean, but obviously, like California Baptist got hooked up with Virginia. SFA got Tech, and unfortunately, I do have to say Tech may actually have a decent run.
I think they will too.
And that's the thing too is not only we talk about these big Power 4 teams big Power 4 teams with like big 1 seats and whatnot, but even to the depth of the Big 12. That's another thing as well. I know that maybe some conferences may be lacking in depth, but I would say Big 12 kind of dominates everything. Where even if they're playing against Tech, like if SFA played against like Iowa State, they played against Iowa State, Arizona as well. Like the depth, it's really harder. So is it again NIL distributing the wealth only in one conference? It's a decent way to view the because I know people like to point the finger at NIL. And yes, it's a very notable thing. But how interesting is it to see the distribution of wealth is an interesting thing. I think we're going to keep our eye on now.
Yeah. I don't even know if they're considered a Cinderella team, but if I had to pick like a lower seeded team that I think will make a big run, it would be TCU. They got that big win over Iowa State. I feel like something like that can be a big momentum builder. But I don't even know if you consider that a Cinderella team. Like a lot of people across America know Texas Christian University. Yeah. It's not
they
one
just
of those.
beat Tech, right?
Yeah, it's not one of those teams that you've just never heard of. But like, it's hard. It's a sore topic because Cinderella stories mean a lot to March and it means a lot to college basketball. Because with college basketball, it's different than football. Like any given day, a team can compete with another team, and it's hard seeing them die out. But that's just how the game of basketball is moving right now. And like you said, I don't want to blame it on NIL. It's just a lot of better talent is coming out of high school, and they're gonna keep wanting to go to the bigger schools.
That's very true.
And that's how you increase your draft odds and stuff like that. So it just sucks to see.
It is seen. It's a weird decline, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Going into Sweet 16, is there any like oddball teams that y'all figure is gonna be there?
Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, TCU, I wouldn't really count them as an oddball team. They are right now projected to be like a 10 seed, but I don't know. Maybe just for like you said, Stephen F. Austin, maybe they can get something going. But a lot of like a lot of Texas teams.
I will say, yeah, there's
a lot of talent.
I hate to say this because if y'all saw the Jubilee video, I was saying on the show, but they had a decent run. I know they've been a little inconsistent, but they had a decent game against Kentucky. Texas A&M could actually be a decent team. Could as far maybe go Elite Eight if things go right. Final Four, that'd be crazy. But I gotta say to my words. I see him as a really like a Sweet 16, and it's buckyball. That's what they keep saying, right? But I do see him as a really underrated team to get there. I think as well too. Another team, and it's overall my bracket buster. The team that will mess up a lot of people's brackets is gonna be Texas Tech. I think that they are one of the more physical teams that are gonna be out there though, and any given team that wants to make a Cinderella, oh my goodness. Cinderella. Oh my goodness.
Cinderella.
I don't know why I got this caffeine, wired in me. My goodness. But the Cinderella run, the glass slipper, they're gonna shatter it. So as I like to say, wreck them.
God, can't do that.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
There.
Can't do that.
I'm just a really sore topic, especially for us as U of H students. How do y'all feel about Florida? Do y'all think there's a chance they can go back to back? They're having a great season with the SEC. Do y'all think they're going to make it to the Final Four and then Natty champs again?
There's a high probability.
Yeah, they're
Final Four at least.
Really good
this last stretch that they've been doing, they've been playing some really good basketball right now.
Yeah, I'm still heartbroken over that championship loss. Like, I
That's
guess
a culture warrior, Emmanuel Sharp.
I guess that's like what we get for beating Duke and like the way we did it. I guess like Carmen does have to come back, but man, bro, we were there. That Natty champ was ours, bro.
Yeah.
Like
For the majority of the game.
yeah, it was like when I saw that poster that U of H had like within like the first 2 minutes, I was like, wow, that's gonna be on like the newspaper of the front cover of every newspaper.
Yeah, it's about to be like a statue and everything
Like,
outside of
yeah.
But then we ended up losing,
I know.
and Iain Sharp couldn't get a shot off. But I don't blame him for that. That's
It
more
was
just a
hard.
defense thing.
It was hard, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just Florida Gators have another great shot.
They do.
All right, so who y'all got making to Elite Eight? Just based off of current predictions.
I mean, again, Florida could do it too. I said Texas A&M earlier. Another team of mine that could honestly make a decent run for it. I'm not gonna lie, Miami, Ohio could make a decent run.
Yeah.
They are, under the radar, great team. They're technically the only undefeated team. So the sky's the limits for them, to be honest with you. And I think they have a good shot. Like based off this prediction right now, they would play against Vanderbilt. And then the next game, they would play against Nebraska, which I think, Nebraska had an opportunity, I feel like. And I'm not denying their legitimacy. And I can honestly can't see them in Elite 8, but that may be pushing it too far. I see them, Sweet 16. But, they had it. They were, what was the highest rank? They were, 3? Or it was something really decently high.
I think, top 10.
Within the top 5.
Yeah.
Top 5. Obviously, they're still top 10 team, but, not as much as they were before 2 months ago. Everyone was like, hey, look out for the Cornhuskers, but now.
Right.
So I do see Miami, Ohio making a decent run, honestly. So I would give it to Miami, Ohio.
Yeah. Right now with the bracket that Fox just put out for college basketball, they have Michigan and Miami, Ohio within the same bracket, and that is a game I would really like to see. I'm not incredibly high on Michigan. I feel like the Big Ten wasn't crazy competitive.
They're kind of all talk this year, no?
Yeah, I feel, especially if you're not a Big 12 or an SEC team right now, and you're in the Power 4 conference, you're at a disadvantage, whereas Miami, Ohio is running the table within the MAC. And I feel like Michigan can get bounced early. I don't know if I see them as a team that's going to be making the Elite 8 or Final 4 as a guaranteed lock. I don't know if I see that from them.
I do agree with you on that because, again, Miami is, I think, it could be under that bracket buster. So I would say maybe Texas Tech and then Miami, Ohio, because it's how well and how dominant they're running it. I would really like to see their full potential being shown in this year's tournament.
Yeah. And then another thing is just the inconsistency of Iowa State. They just keep bouncing back and forth. I saw this article talking about how they're a completely different team versus on ESPN Saturday versus Big Monday. And like, it's just, you can't have that when you go into March in the bracket. You got to be consistent. You got to know what you're good at. You got to know your strengths. You got to know your weaknesses. And I feel like Iowa State just bounces back and forth too much.
Another team that does do that a lot is Purdue. I'm always a never a firm believer in those in those posts. Pre like polling, and like they're always ranked high.
Yeah.
They always fall off. Even like when they do actually do good, they're another team right here that just. I'm not saying that they aren't good. They are a great team, but again, the consistency is iffy because first game they play against right here, North Dakota State. If it were today, winner of that game would play against Santa Clara, or as is right now, it's a toss-up between Santa Clara and New Mexico, which that could be interesting. New Mexico being like the last team, they would fight for everything, to be honest, or Louisville. So, yeah, I mean that's another good point that you bring up right there. Inconsistency is the death of all teams in the tournament, though, because you have to be consistent. Because it doesn't matter if you are a Power 4 team or not a Power 4 team. Consistency matters. Consistency. And Purdue and Iowa State doesn't really have it, though, unfortunately. But it'd be interesting to see because, again, any given day for March Madness.
Yeah. And then I guess the team everyone is waiting on us to talk about, U of H Cougs. What do we think? How do we feel going into this year versus how we felt last year? What do we think? Like, is this the year they finally get the championship? Or this might be the year that maybe a Sweet 16 is the height of their limits? What do y'all think?
I'm biased. I'm biased. I got us making it to the championship. I just don't hope it's a complete repeat of last year against Florida.
Again, the thing I've always said about U of H, without the biasy and everything, is that within the starting five, it is a very complete team whenever it's fully healthy, fully ready to go. Yep. Because it's rather than Arizona has more versatility in there, like more depth, unfortunately. We have it to a better extent than just one big man that a lot of college teams kind of rely on. Just the only issue right now, I know we're kind of getting out of that hump with the win against Colorado and Baylor after the 3-game loss, the last CoogsTalk that will get posted, Daniel. But but the previous CoogsTalk that we have talked about it before, like it's been a little bit of a slump, but again, it's that that rough time. And Sampson is really focusing on March right now, and obviously that's where he puts all of his eggs in his basket. So I do see a championship run and potentially a championship shot. I could see something really big out of Kicks of Fleming, or I don't know, maybe a great like defensive stance from JoJo. But yeah, I mean I don't want to sound biased, obviously, but I do see the limit. But I do see it as our ceiling, but then like probably low. I won't say Sweet 16. I maybe say Elite 8.
Yeah, but I guess I'll play bad cop here. I feel like something's missing this year from U of H, and it's not really a physical thing. I think it's more of a mentality thing. Like last year, you had LJ Cryer, but I think this year, what U of H is really missing is Deron Roberts.
And as I was saying before, like we were talking about that, me and Joseph, and we were saying obviously the more freshmen, it's gonna be different with Emmanuel Sharp being the only kind of big leader, like with more experience. That's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna shift, because when I think like those guys, the younger guys, they'll get like they'll go through like the first 2 rounds, but like Sweet 16, that's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna go. Didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good. But I think a lot of people have, like you said, have been saying Emmanuel Sharp is the culture driver, but I think the Cougars are only going to go as far as Milos Uzan takes them. I feel like he is the key to what the Cougars want to do, and I feel like when you have Kingston Fleming's not really as a primary scorer, but more as a playmaker, getting all of his teammates involved, I feel like that's when the Cougars are at their best. So if the Cougars want to make a deep run, I'm thinking Milos Uzan and Sinak are going to have to go off for the Cougars.
Yes, very much so. Everyone has to be on there again.
Yeah. I guess to wrap this up, Final Four predictions?
Definitely got to throw the Cougs in there. And then Florida. I want to see that rematch. I think if that rematch happens in the Final Four, I think it will be one of the most tuned-in games in college basketball that year. And I think a lot of bad blood, even though Florida's roster is obviously different without Walter Clayton.
Right.
I think Emmanuel Sharp is gonna have a bad taste in his mouth.
That's gonna be really cool. I'm gonna like that.
He's gonna want to go off. So Florida, U of H. I think Arizona is not a guaranteed lock. You can never be guaranteed a March, but Arizona has a great shot. And then I guess for my final team, I'll have to say Iowa State, if they can just get on one of those good stretches that they haven't really found, but who knows when it comes to March.
For me, I got U of H, Tech with the bracket buster, Arkansas.
Okay.
They got superstar status, and they can really put up some decent offense. And I can see them outscoring a lot of teams and beating them out. So, Arkansas, toss up between Duke or Arizona.
Yeah, we really haven't talked about Duke, but
Duke is good.
Yeah.
I'm not denying them. I know everyone wants to hate them. I think the depth of Arizona is gonna beat them out. So I'm gonna put Arizona. So Arizona, U of H, Tech, and Arkansas. I don't know. It's gonna be a bit 12 heavy, but we'll see.
Yeah.
what about you?
I have Houston, Iowa State, Duke, and Midwest, Florida.
Yeah, so Florida and Arkansas are really the only two SEC teams we mentioned. Do y'all think there's any like sleeping giants in there? I know Tennessee,
I said A&M before.
Yeah.
I would say Tennessee, A&M.
UT. You have any thoughts on them? You think they have a shot this year, or
They could. It's interesting right now. Looking at their stuff right now, 18 and 12, 9 and 8 in conference. They could if they really kind of get themselves really good. They do if it was any today. They play against Wisconsin. Wisconsin's actually not a bad team.
yeah?
They beat out Michigan. That was a really impressive game. They could. It's a lot harder for them. Their back's against the wall, so they could. But I don't really see it though. I say that respectfully though. But again, it's March though, so it's like it's all I can never be so certain.
But I think one thing we can agree on is that within this bracket, the power lies in the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to make the bracket. It's either going to make it or it's going to bust it. You're going to have those big Big 12 teams either going all the way to the end or they're going to go out early. And it's going to be crazy to see the repercussions of what happens within those games.
One of the biggest influence we have right now. It's probably this one with NIL. I think this is probably one of the most influential March Madness brackets we'll have in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, is there like a? I mean, we've already kind of discussed it, but what is your team to watch? Maybe not to make the Final Four, but just maybe to push a team to their limits, to be a true test to see if their team is gonna make it deep in the tournament.
TCU, like you mentioned before.
Yeah.
UConn, if they really can do it again, because I know all the spotlights kind of went away after their UConn. Yeah, after was it now 23? Yeah, so 3 years ago now. When it was here in Houston, when the coach called Houston ugly, or like what do you say? Like the city was like terrible or something like that. That's all I remember. That was the year that RIP Jamal Shed got hurt.
Yeah, against Jared McCain.
Yes, yes, that's been our year too. That's a whole other debate. That was a good Final Four, I will say. That was like them, Miami, and San Diego State.
Yeah.
But I think
FAU.
yes. But I'd say like UConn though, because again, don't ever sleep on they're one of the best coach teams all around.
Right.
So and that's another thing too. The better disciplined team will win out those tiresome games. So I would say UConn and TCU be kind of those guys to give them a run for their money. Any of the big teams that we talked about before.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it, discipline and consistency. And then, like I said earlier, Iowa State hasn't really exemplified that. And right now, they're going to be a high seed. They're going to be either a 2 to 4 seed. And I could either see them going all the way to the Final Four or getting bounced in the round of 32. So that's my team to watch. I want to see what type of mindset do they come out with. Do they come out with it's going to be a dogfight every game, or do they think just because of their talent they should run through every team, and then when you run into a brick wall, you're going to get bounced back? And then, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
All right, guys, that wraps up today's CoogsTalk about our March Madness predictions. I'm your host, Lynden Taft, here with
Iain Bell.
Nick White.
Go Cougs.